What's up, party people? Welcome to a new episode of Pasty-T Garage. Today we're going to be working on the 97 Miata. And today what we're doing is diagnosing and repairing a tire leak. Now, this is the right rear tire on the car. As you can see, I already have it off. Funny thing is, because the car's so low, I had to use the factory jack to lift it up just enough to get the other jack underneath of it. And peep that flying Miata. Little jack support. Thing's nice. I'll link it in the description. Very, very handy. Anyways, so we got this tire here. And the other day I was driving the car and it got a little slippery on me, and this tire ended up being about 9 psi. Like, that's all the air that was in it. The rest of the tires were about 25, so they were all a little low, but this one was significantly lower. And I'm pretty sure that's what caused the slipperiness, because you have, you know, two different tires, two different psi. One tire has a little bit different of a square pattern on the road. It doesn't have as much traction. Your car is going to grab the tire that has the most traction, and then it's gonna, you know, spin you around, which is what I found out. So thankfully everything was safe. There's no other cars on the road, but I wanted to diagnose this. So as you can see, there's really nothing obvious. You know, there's no obvious like puncture, but I knew that I had a leak because this one was significantly lower. Now, if you focus in right here, you can kind of see a little dot. You know, looks like just a little thing. We spray it with some soapy water. You can see that air coming out. Now, this is a trick that I picked up when I was an automotive tech. Soapy water is great because it's cheap. You just get your little spray bottle, and like you can see here, it basically picks up exactly where that air is leaking from. So something easy that you can do to your tire should you have a slow leak. So because I didn't see anything obvious, I ended up spraying the entire tread down. Sprayed the sidewalls down. I sprayed the valve stem down because I didn't know where this leak was coming from, but I knew it had a leak because tires don't normally have that significant of a difference in pressure, especially if you've aired them all up at the same time. They will have some residual loss, but nothing like 15 psi different. That's ridiculous. So today what we're going to do is we're going to repair that leak. And what I have is a toolkit that I got actually from Advanced Auto. And so you see it has these premium inserts. It's basically a tire plug kit. So this would be the tool that plugs it. This is the tool that goes in and reams the hole so that you can get a fresh, you know, secure plug in there. And then the only other piece that we'll need is a razor blade to cut the excess out. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Alright, so now that we've identified where the hole is, which is right here, you're going to take your reaming tool and you're just going to puncture all the way through. Now it's going to be difficult, especially with a tire this size. So you might have to give it a lot of effort, twist it while you're pushing in. You have the tire fighting you on the way out. As you can hear, definitely is where the leak is. So you might need to grab it with your foot. Like me, I'm squeezing in between my legs while I get that reamer tool in there. Alright. So now you can see that I got the tool all the way in there. We're just going to work it back and forth to make sure that we get everything. Okay, when I pull it out, you're going to hear a big gush of air. Because we basically just created a larger air gap. So so that should be good enough. The next part, is you're going to take this tool. As you can see, it has a little slot in it, and we're going to thread one of these in that slot. So open the box. So these pieces are really sticky, as you can see. It's already sticking on my gloves. So it takes a little bit of effort to squeeze it in here. You might need a pair of pliers to pull it from the other side. It depends how well your grip is to get it through there. So you basically just pull it through the other side. As you can see, it's Give me a little bit of a struggle, but eventually you get it through. So I'm also using a little pocket screwdriver to kind of push it through. All right, eventually you can see you'll get it through. You want it to be about even. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this tip and shove it in the hole that we just reamed out with our other tool. So this is also going to be super tough. So you're going to hold the tire while pushing down, kind of twisting. Eventually it will cave, and you're going to put it in. As you can see, not all of it's in. So you don't want to push the plug all the way in, because that will defeat the purpose of it plugging that hole. And once it's like here, you know, you want about a 1/4 inch of it sticking out. You're going to grab the tool and rip out fast. So it might be hard to see. I'm going to get the camera focus on it. So the plug in the tire, as you can see, is about a 1/4 inch out. And we're going to trim that off with our razor blade. So being very careful, obviously razor blades are sharp. You're going to just walk it back and forth. It's not the easiest one-handed job. Okay. Now the reason you want to do this portion of it, there's some sticky stuff. Okay, the reason you want to do this portion of it where you cut it is because that's sticky. You don't want to be driving and have parts on the road grab it and rip it out, because then you'll have a bigger leak than you had to begin with. But yeah, that's basically how to repair the tire. The only other thing that we would do is make sure that the tire's at the correct pressure. Sometimes you can find that on the inside of your driver's or passenger's door. Sometimes it's in the owner's manual. Uncle Google usually has the tire pressure. I'm going to check this one, make sure I air it to the right set. I'm going to make sure all the rest of the tires are aired up the exact same. And then we'll reinstall it. Alright, so now that we're done with the tire, we're going to go ahead and remount it on the car. Not too hard, it's a very, very light tire. We have 4 lug nuts. This one comes with a special splined lug nut. So we're just going to thread those in using a key. I like to hand tighten everything first before I get down with like an impact wrench or, you know, something else, just in case, you know, you cross thread it. It's a lot easier to feel it when you're cross threading by hand, or you might not be able to cross thread. Okay, so that's on. Last thing we need to do is just lower it on the ground, and that way we can use the weight of the vehicle as leverage to torque it. All right, so we're gonna get ready to torque the vehicle. Now, because this is a 4-lug, we're not gonna get to do our traditional 5-star pattern. We're gonna do, just because it's at the top, we'll do the top one first, then the bottom one, and then you can do either the left or the right, but then you'll do the left and the right, or the right and then the left. So it's basically 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I always like to just double check the torque, so I'll just do another round. So I'm setting my torque wrench to 90 pounds. Now again, I'm just going to check it, so I'm going to check each one of them. And that's it. Yeah, so pretty short video on a tire leak that I had on the Miata. Found it, diagnosed it, repaired it with that tool kit that I showed you, and I'll link an idea of that toolkit in the description. You may find a different brand or a different style at, you know, AutoZone or O'Reilly's or whatever your preferred auto parts store is. But this is a kit that I had, and obviously it worked today. It doesn't always work for everything. Bit of precaution: it's never recommended to plug a sidewall, or if it's within an inch or two from the sidewall. So for example, if I had a nail here, not a good idea to plug that. It's just too close to the sidewall, too much flexing, could cause problems. I would consult a tire specialist, you know, Discount Tire, Napa, something like that, just to make sure that they can give you the correct help that you need. This was in the middle of the tread, so it really wasn't a big deal. Super easy for me to do. But yeah, so that's going to do it for me today. So thanks everybody for joining me. If you're new to this channel, thank you so much for hanging out. Go ahead and sub if you enjoyed the content. Like the video if you liked it, and that's going to do it for me today. So I'll see you.